Justin Gatlin is the latest in a long line of sprint sensations to emerge from the USA.
Gatlin got a good start. Look at this man coming through now. Gatlin. What a fantastic performance from Gatlin. It's all about Gatlin.
Ultimate goal is to be one of the best sprinters in history.
And what a fantastic performance from Gatlin. And look at the time.
It's the American leading the Jamaican at the moment.
He knows he is the world champion.
Justin Gatlin is the world champion here in London.
What's up, everybody? Back for another episode of Ready, Set, Go. We in the building. Today is a special day. Why is it a special day? Because it's Super Bowl Sunday. And my boy right there has been speaking about this since the beginning of the football season. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. And damn it, if he wasn't right, man, they in the Super Bowl, man. You know who it is. My co-host, my ride or die, my dog, my day one, Mr. Rodney Green, Silver Daddy himself.
No, boy, you ain't gonna make that one stick. Hey, listen, the better one already stick. Silver Daddy, man, the better wonder, guys. I'm good with that.
We're going to build a wonder. We're going to build a wonder, man. How's it feel, man? Y'all ready for the Super Bowl, man? I see you decked out. Look at you, dog. You got the Eagles shirt on, Eagles hat.
It feels amazing. It feels amazing, man. You know, we gonna win. We gonna start that three-peat. You know what I mean? Everybody already. Hey, they said that Kansas City made a call. The owners of Kansas City made a call to the Miami Heat to try to get them to release the trademark on three-peat. Because, you know, Miami Heat had I guess Pat Riley had the three-peat thing trademarked or something like that.
I did not know you could trademark that. I thought it was just a regular phrase.
They made that up, I guess. Oh, no, I get it now. It was the Lakers. They won 2, and I guess he thought they was going to win 3, and he trademarked three-peat. So I heard and it's still trademarked to the day, I guess. So I heard, you know, they want to put it on that near the shirts and stuff like that for right now. But, I mean, well, I'm sure it's going to be in Africa somewhere or in some type of village because we're going to start that.
They're gonna be right over there with them Laker three-peat shirts that they made in mass production that didn't get used.
I always wondered because, you know, all those shirts are pre-made. I always wonder when the team loses, where does that stuff go? Where does that stuff go? Because it's tons of it.
They go to third world countries, bro. They go to countries in Africa, some in the Caribbean as well. Like they go to countries that obviously need shirts and clothes and things like that. So that's why you see it's almost like being in an alternate universe, because then you'll see Lakers three-peat. And you'll be like, wait a minute, Lakers ain't three-peat. What the hell is going on here?
And the reason why I say that, I know people who travel to third world countries all the time for like, you know, church and stuff like missions trips. You know, why have none of these things resurfaced? One of them had to resurface with these camera phones and be like, hey, you got a three-peat shirt on. Lakers ain't never won no three-peat.
Well, let's hope that the Eagles today does not end up in that universe. They stay in this universe and they win one.
Yes. Most definitely,
the Eagles.
Man. The Eagles. Go
the
Birds.
Eagles.
Go Birds today, man. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But yeah, man, we had a great week of track and field this week, man. Really, really great week. Really fast times. Really, really things, man. We're going to start off in our Strava. Strava was an amazing meet, man. We talked about him last show. Ronnie Baker, second 60. That boy dropped 650. Indoors. I know we have a few outdoor times that are faster than his, but indoor only, he is the world leader for indoor only, 650. As with the indoor time, man. Ronnie Baker is making his reemergence. And I don't know, should our medalists be worried about Ronnie Baker? When I say our medalists, I'm talking about Fred, Noah, and Keishane. Should they be worried about this guy?
So my thing is, first off, Ronnie, congratulations to Rodney, man. Just opened up with a 653. Then he drops down to his next race to 650. So it looks like he's going to progressively keep dropping. And right now, the time he's at right now, it's a threat to the top of that podium for the 60-meter World Championships. He needs to jump on that bandwagon of trademarking and building his persona. I'm thinking Ronnie Baker need to go ahead and say, hey, I'm out here cooking it up, dog. You're out there shaking and baking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he's doing, dog. That's the oven door coming down.
Yeah. Rodney Baker, boy, you just got baked.
Got baked, boy. Got baked out here, boy.
I
About to
can't
bake 'em
imagine
all.
him saying something like that because he's so humble.
He is,
And when I
man.
watch him turn to the side and be like, "Hey, bro, you just got baked."
No, I think that other athletes that are in that sprint position, do I think they need to be worried right now? No. Not taking anything away from Rodney, because we're talking about the 60 meters. We're not talking about the 100 meters right now. So even if he goes out there and runs 640 something and prepare, and he's got the gold medal around his neck, he still has to prepare himself from a 60 meter individual into a 100 meter successful individual. And we know that. We've seen a lot of 60 meter runners who can't transform that into a 100 meter successful runner. But we know that Rodney is a 100 meter successful runner. So I think that we give him a little patience. Let him build himself up from the 60 meters that he has rolling right now and kind of segue himself into that 100 meter form again. But right now, the way he's running, sky's the limit for him, bro. Like, he's looking good. He's
finding his rhythm. I mean, I think he's going to go and try his hand at indoor worlds. He's going to come back here to United States and he's going to jump in that indoor, that 60. And I think he'll be one of two that's going to make that team. I mean, I'm speaking a little earlier, but he has the experience. He's second fastest man all time, third fastest time all time. I forgot about Mo. Third fastest time all time in the 60 behind Maurice Green and Christian Coleman. So the experience in the 60 is definitely there. So I think he should continue and go and get that title, man.
For sure. So good luck to him, man, on whatever next event he's going to be at. Anybody that's going to race against him, man, y'all better be ready. Lace up those spikes, because
better be ready.
He be coming. No Diddy.
Man, I remember last year, man, around the same time we was talking about Doom. I think Alexander Doom from Germany.
You got to put an evil laugh at the end every time you talk about Doom. Alexander Doom.
Alexander Doom. But now we have a new European that has entered the chat, man. He ran the world lead, man. The Hungarian Attila. That's a hard name, bro. Attila. Attila Monlar. Attila sounds like a killer's name, bro.
I mean, it's very similar to Attila the Hun, dog. He was a history goon. He was a goon in history.
I don't know, but this young man ran an impressive 45:08 world lead. Commanding, very, very, very strong. I watched the race, man, and it was very, very impressive. But I don't remember us talking about him last year. I don't remember. But we didn't talk about Doom the previous year before.
Exactly. So, I mean, looking at that right now, it's shaping up to be an exciting indoors from the 60 on up. So I hope these guys are ready to go. Attila, he's made his mark, got a world lead. So I don't know what race he's going to be at next, but he's probably going to push forward. Watching the emergence of these European sprinters come out, like you could tell now, especially from the four, they're hungry. You know what I mean? From the men's side and the women's side. So I expect that he's probably going to look to run faster than 45:08. So he's going to put something down.
Yes. Listen, I want our European fans who watch, please be patient with me in these names, right? Everybody know names are hard for me.
I love it. That's why I have anointed you to be the name caller.
But we want to definitely give you a shine and recognition, man. Our former world leader, Patricia van der Brecken. I hope I said that right. If I did, somebody send $1 to my Instagram. But she had another commanding lead over our seasoned vet, man, Swoboda from Poland, man. Like, she's starting to shape up. You know what I mean? She has a PR in 7:07. You know what I mean? She beat Swoboda again today, about this week, with a 7:08. So her consistency is there. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's letting people know that I'm here. I'm here and I'm not going nowhere.
Well, we know, especially in the sprint world, consistency is key. If you're able to go out there and beat one of the top dogs and then backdoor it again with another W over a top dog, that shows that you are truly a threat and that you're going to have to watch out for this athlete. And running 7:0, I mean, that's a tall order right there. We We didn't have any 7.0s over here in the States until this weekend. So if they're out there running 7.0s already in Europe, they're ready for the championship that's ahead. So them girls over there sharpening their knives and them claws to get ready for this fight.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. And I think she's from Luxembourg. I want to make sure.
Luxembourg.
I think she's from Luxembourg.
Luxembourg. Yeah.
Then we have Lieke Klaver. Man, you will not put a stamp on her and just say she's a relay runner for her country, the Netherlands. She is here, and she's letting people know that she is going to be a force to reckon with. Running a world lead in 50.91, man. Listen, she looks so strong. She looks so strong, bro. I was really moved by her race, man.
I'm so proud of Klaver, man. I mean, first of all, she emerged around the same time that Femke did. And Femke has did amazing things, not only just in her country, but in the world, right? And that's a long shadow that's being cast. But for Klaver, she has started to make her own ground, her own name, her own footing. Like you said, she's not just a relay runner. She is a bona fide 400-meter threat. No matter what race she jumps into, you have to watch out for her because she's always constantly making gains from last year to this year and previous years, even before then. It was the fact of you can see her success that she's mounting up. Slowly but surely, she's moving towards the top, and she's going to be the top dog that you have to face against. And I think this championship might be her championship. She might come out this championship and say, hey, this is mine for the taking. You know, so move that shadow over just a little bit, Phil. Like, I need my space for my shadow right now too, because this 400 about to get real hot. I'm gonna have to bring some hardware back to the Netherlands and put it on my chest.
She might be saying that, but I think Femke is preparing also. I think she realized that she needs some rest. You know, she went 2 years really hard, breaking a lot of European records, a lot of indoor. I think she has the indoor 300-meter record or something like that. I think she just had a hard 2 years to where she's been pushing herself to the max, you know, with the mixed relays, 4x4, 400-meter hurdles, you know, running the 4 flat indoors and stuff like that. She's giving herself a little rest. So I don't think Femke taking time off at this point, I think, was a good idea for her and her team to do, especially with the World Championships being so late in the year. Those first 2 years were definitely a lot on her. And her letting her countrymen shine, not letting, but she's out there doing the hard work, putting it in. Miss Klaver is doing a brilliant job.
Absolutely.
We're going to fly over here, man. We're going to get back on the plane from Australia. We're going to fly over here to the United States, man. We're going to talk about our youth. Our youth. Track and field's youth, boys. And our youth, Lord, jeez. As it couldn't get any better, you know, we went through this with Quincy, where we saw him run the 44.5, and we were like, oh, yeah, he probably topped out. Then he go and drop that 44.2. And then we're like, he's not topped out.
He's not topped out.
We talking about our two young phenoms, man. One's a real young female, and Lisa Raye, with her in the showcase at Melrose Games. Lisa Raye ran 7:13, but right behind her was Melanie Doggett in 7:17, who ran a world record for under 13.
They both made records.
Yes. They both. I think that's the high school record for
Lisa Raye.
For Lisa Raye, and world record for under 13 for Melanie. Right? I don't even know what to say because they're on the world list, not the high school list, not the top 100 list of high schoolers or middle schoolers. They're on the world list of professional athletes where these times are posted. Both of them qualified for indoor worlds. Like, they could actually go to United States indoor trials and try their hand. You know what I mean? At those trials. It's just super crazy. I mean, the whole showcase of the Melrose Games of that young field was amazing because last place was like something like 7:45, right? Which is exceptional for any high schooler at 7'4". But 7'1", bro? 2 7'1s, bro?
So, did you watch the race? Did you see the race?
Of course I watched the race. If you blink, you missed it.
So, first of all, wow, when it comes to Melanie Doggett start. Wow. It was amazing. I was eating popcorn while I was just slowing down the video just to watch the starts, watch the mechanics of her form and her movement. I mean, when she had 2 steps down, everyone already had 1.5 steps. So she already gapped the field by half a shoulder, basically. And that was impressive in itself. She was leading the race all the way up to about maybe 2.5 steps before the finish line. Now, what also impressed me was the fact of Lisa Raye's composure in that race to realize if she's been running this whole season, leading the pack, and had to run someone down to get the victory, she stayed so composed. She reeled her back in. It was no struggle. She moved like a veteran in that race. She understood what she needed to do. She didn't rig up. She didn't get tired. She handled business there. 7:17 and 7:13 would have made second place and fourth place in the women's 60 meters at Melrose professional level. That's what we talk about right now. A middle schooler would have got fourth, and a high schooler would have got second. This is the stuff that we see a lot of this generation hasn't really seen before, but this is very Allison Felix-esque. When Allison jumped in these races, she was putting herself and establishing herself in professional races, and she was podiuming. She was on that podium. She was getting thirds or seconds, whatever like that, but she was right there. It showed that she was destined to be great. These 2 girls are on that same path. That's what we're looking at.
We've seen this before, though. And it wasn't that long ago in Shanti Jackson. Shanti Jackson was doing the same thing. You know what I mean? I think the high school record that was broken was Shanti Jackson's record. Shanti Jackson. So we've seen it, you know. Shanti's been injured and she's on her way back to recovery. Prayers out for her. But, I mean, shoot. If she was a preview of anything that was coming, she basically was the preview of this coming. You know what I mean? Because she ended up running 10.8 as a high schooler.
She did. She ran 10.8 as a high schooler, man. That is just crazy. There's women out there, there's grown women out there who will go their whole career hoping to run 10.8, and she ran 10.8 in high school.
Who've had deals, who've had contracts, and never ran 10.8. This is true. So this is what we're getting in the future. Even though we're at Melrose, they had another young girl from Italy, and I hope I say her name right. Her first name I'm going to get right. Her first name is Kelly. Her last name is Duola. I think that's how you say it. Please.
I'm going to roll with you on that. I'm going to roll with you. You're just going to roll with me
just to stay
out of trouble. You. So if you're wrong, I'm wrong. If you're wrong, I'm wrong too.
She's 15 years old, and she ran 7:19 this weekend. Now, when I watched her video, the one thing I can say about all these young women, you can tell that they're being coached by intelligent coaches. You could always tell when somebody's just running with raw talent and somebody's running with very good coaching, and then both. Like of course, it's both with talent and good coaching. But you watch their form is very, very pristine, very clean. Raw talent, you just see a lot of and they run fast, and you're like, oh, that kid's just talent. But these kids are being coached by very intelligent coaches at this point, these young girls. If this is our future, man, track, like I said, man, these young kids, track is in good hands. Like I said, good hands.
Listen, people always say like, oh man, don't run the kids so early, so fast. They're going to burn them out through their career. And listen, their career might not have to last 30 years to their 30. Their career may say, you know what? I can capture everything that I need to capture, but I'm 25. That's fine. That may be their success. So allow them to go out there and do what they want to do and do what they have to do. And as a middle schooler running 7:13, you're paving the way for other athletes to believe that it's possible that they can go out there and do the same thing. Now, she carries that same rhythm with that same intent through her middle school years, her high school years, if she goes to high school or just turns pro. Who knows at this point in time? Into her professional years. And if she carries that same intent of being great and going after it, then who's to say they won't change what the projection looks like in our sport when it comes to professional athletes? And it may be necessary to do so. So, hey, shouts out to both of those ladies. Shouts out to all three of those ladies, because we could be looking at what the future of female sports and sprinting looks like in the next decade. Seriously. So y'all can all say that, hey, we've seen them from the beginning.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, though. I'm glad you said that about our young athletes. The one thing I would implore their parents to do is to get a team around these kids. Like I said, man, find you a good team of people that's going to work with them. And when I say team, I mean a mental health coach, they already have a coach, a therapist, a sports therapist, somebody to work on their bodies, nutritionist, and there's somebody who can teach them on how to be a professional track and field athlete, who's going to teach them how to travel, what to wear when they travel, as far as compression tights, compression socks, how to prepare overseas. If you're going to go that route, parents, do your due diligence ahead of the kids and go figure out all this stuff out for these kids. Don't let the kid just go and figure it out on their own. That's how we lose a lot of them. Anyway.
Very true. Very true.
Moving on to our next, we have our high schoolers. High school is doing really well, man. High school national record in the 800, 146.86. Indoors.
Oh, boy. boy.
By Cooper. Boy, I know I'm going to mess this up, boy.
Lucan House.
Lucan House. Hey, I'm shouting you out, man. Listen, Cooper, you did your thing, man. 146 high school national record. They said they resurfaced Melrose, man. If you want to run fast, whatever surface they put down, listen, they had national records, world records, everything dropping like flies. Where it leads, look at the scoreboard was looking like the alphabet out there.
But they put a conveyor belt on the track. That's what that was, because they was out there moving, dog. They were moving.
They were definitely out there moving, man. I know I'm gonna mess this one from this young lady up too. Sadie, I said your first name right. That last
Sadie.
name. Engelhart.
There you go.
I hope I said it right. Engelhart. 427.97 in the mile, bro. High school national record for the mile. In my best shape, I could never run under 5 minutes, ever in life. This young lady ran 427 in the mile, bro. As a high schooler.
That's tough. That's tough.
That's physically tough and tough metaphorically also. But
listen, she would have been a threat for me even at the height of my career as well, because I don't know if I could even run that in a mile as well. So seeing these kids go out here and run times that I remember from our generation, that was fast in college. These times were comparably fast in college. Now, you can't run these times in college. You can't. You know what I mean? Not a high-level school, not a school that has a lot of competition, not a school like the SEC. So these kids are preparing themselves for their future the right way. They said, look, we drop the times now, it's going to invest into our future, we can pick and choose what college we want to go to.
Shoot, I like how you said earlier that they don't have to have a long career. And because of the time we live in, they don't have to have a long career as a professional. Because now we are moving into the age of where kids could have NIL. And if you're the national record holder, gold medalist, someone like Quincy or anything, going to a school, that highlights your school a little bit. I would encourage most of them to use the leverage you have to get NIL. Of course, your NIL won't be like a football player or a basketball player or any one of that. And the percentage is going to be a whole lot smaller. But if you're an Olympic gold medalist, I'm going to use Quincy for the youngest Olympic gold medalist, and you decide to go to Florida, and NIL is involved, I'm pretty sure they have it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they could make do with it and say, we've had the youngest track and field gold medalist attend our school. they're going to have that money for him, and he could stand to make pretty good money and NIL money outside of his New Balance thing and with the school and with other potential sponsors within that city. You know what I mean? The University of Florida Health, like I think Grant is sponsored by them also. You know, like people like that. So in the age we live in now, you don't have to have such a long career to make money, right? It would be in the best interest of those kids if that's the goal to go that route.
I got food for thought for you right now. Let's just say everything is still trending that same way, where the times are getting faster, the athletes are becoming younger, and now they are at that fork in the road where do you go pro or do you go to college? And college still has the NIL that you're talking about, right? Do you think that these NIL deals will now construct how often these kids are going to be ran? Because let's just say you don't want these kids to get burnt out, right? You don't want them to get used through the college system to where now the money you put into them NIL wise and with the hopes of them turning pro, right? And they're not going to be burned out by the time they go pro. So do you think there's going to be some kind of restrictions or some kind of clauses in these NIL deals where they're going to be like, well, I need young Sadie not to run 10 miles in her career, in her collegiate career. I need her to run at least 8 and keep it around there. And if you want to throw in maybe, 4x4, then she's going to run at least 4 4x4s or 7 4x4s. Is there a negotiation process that you think that it could get to?
It depends. I think that's a loaded question because it's the know-how on who is behind the NIL. Is it the athletic director and the boosters? How is this constructed? How much information do they have into what this kid should be doing? Do they lean on the coach and all the experience and be like, can you guarantee you this kid could highlight our school in the best way and go to the top? Because let's all remember, for the people that work for the school is the number one priority. We've seen plenty of people go to a school, be highlighted, and as soon as they leave the school is gone. They move on to the next young athlete who's going to bring them success. Correct?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as pros, once they move into the program, they're more the other level is the shoe people or the shoe companies that are more worried about the athlete. So that question to me is more so who's involved with constructing how that kid is built. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We've had some kids who are actually really great in high school who did the one and done. The Sydney McLaughlin, she went to Kentucky. The Shawnee Miller-Weeble, she went to Georgia. Did it 1 year and it was out after that 1 year. You know what I mean? And then we have some who didn't go to school at all and they were still great, like the Usain Bolt, or we have Allison Felix. You know what I mean? But I like the one and done route basically because I feel like the kid will usually figure out who they are outside of mom and dad on a school campus. They're going to understand what type of boundaries I have as my own person. When you live at home with mom and dad, you have boundaries, but you're more so fearful of, oh, I got to get home by this time. Oh, I got to do this at this time, because your parents are there. But when you're in college, I remember the first time I realized I didn't have to answer to anybody. I was like, bro, it was almost chaos and control at the same time because it's like, I could do this, but there is consequences because I didn't go to class the next day. I had a 7 o'clock class that I did not attend. You know what I mean? So there's consequences to that. So you would have to figure out how you're going to, work with time management and everything else. That's why I like the one and done. That little time by yourself in a college will teach you about who you are. And you end up racing some of the pros anyway at some of these meets your first year in college because they're going to jump in them little relay meets where you at.
Oh, yeah. I almost failed my freshman year. I almost failed my first class. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning, dog. And my roommate, who was already a junior, and I was a freshman, he would sleep in because he had later classes. So I was like, well, sure, he gonna sleep in. I'm gonna sleep in too. And the next thing I know, I'm out here failing English. And it was 8 o'clock in the morning.
Let me tell you, me and my friend Eric Forskren, shout out to Eric, man. He was my friend from Cars. He was still my friend. He was there when my kids was born and everything. He's my kid's godfather. But shout out to him. We used to flip a coin to go to class, bro. That's how crazy it was. That's how irresponsible we was as kids, bro. We'd be like, heads we go, tails we don't. If that thing hit tails, we jump right back in our bed. But there was consequence. Because that grade is going to go down. Like, I want the kids to really understand that grade go down. You lose your scholarship, you could be in peril. Listen, I just want to tell you. So, like, it just, I think the one and done kind of helps you kind of grow up. You know what I mean? You can kind of understand who you are as your own person. You know what I mean? So that's why I like it. And that's just my opinion. Other people's will beg to differ, and that's fine. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. When you went back to saying that now these high school kids need to understand, and their parents need to understand how to form a circle around them, because they're going into a professional realm now. Like, yes, start looking for, therapist. Start looking for a physical and mental therapist at that. You know what I mean? Also start looking for people who can help get deals for you. So when it's time for you to segue into those NIL deals / professional contracts, you're going to have a team around you, and you're not going to be scrambling thinking like, who do I trust? Who do I go with? Now you have opportunity because you're flirting with professionalism already. You're there. Your child's running professional times. He's running against professional athletes, or she, and you got to operate in that same level. You got to, man. Because if you don't, then you're going to be out there like, I don't know what's happening. Don't do that.
Quick question for you. At Tennessee Volunteer, if you was in this time doing what you did, how much money in NIL do you think you could earn?
I don't know, but I did hear, listen though, I don't know, but I did hear that in the 2 years that I was there, I helped bring in $10 million to the school by the 6 NCAA championships I won individually by myself, plus the 2 team titles that we had, outdoor and indoor.
So Tennessee owe you some money. Nah, I'm just playing.
No wonder they're so welcoming when I come around.
Come on in, man.
Come on in. Yeah, man. Here's a seat right here. We put a name on the back of it just for you, man.
Man, that's crazy, man. I think about like a lot of the names who went to college, like who possibly would have been like great with NIL. Walter Dix at Florida State, Xavier Carter at LSU, Tyson Gay, Wallace Spearman, Veronica Campbell at doggone Arkansas, like back in the day, Kelly Willie at LSU. Man, Kelly Willie got like 900 All-American mentions. It's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of the greats, the Auburn kids, man, Avad Bunker at Auburn, so many schools, if they had NIL back then, I wonder what could have been like the amount of money that was earned by each athlete. It's crazy.
I mean, even just think about University of Florida and the countless elite athletes that they turned out, bro.
Oh my God.
They might have been broke.
Oh my God. Will Clay. I ain't even gonna go to the runners. I'm gonna just go. I can go to the jumpers.
Let's go straight.
That's like jump you over there. It's like shoot. But if we gonna go back to Capel and Bernard, and all
that's what I'm talking about.
And then even into the early days with Jeff Demps and all the way up to now to Lita Diggs, like. It's crazy, man. It is.
Yes.
That is crazy. How much more money you could have made as a collegiate athlete. It might not make sense to turn pro, especially if them contracts don't look right. You'd be like, hey, 100%. Man, I'm making 160 as a collegiate athlete, and you trying to sign me for $50K. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go do another year.
Listen, one of the smart things to do if you making professional money with an NIL deal, and you already know your support is going to be taken care of. And what I mean by that is like your flight's taken care of, your room is being taken care of, all these things that you have to worry about when you turn pro. Yeah, go ahead and sit back for a minute. You got another year under your belt. Handle business. You got the state-of-the-art therapy that's all there for you. Hot tubs, cold tubs, training facilities, state-of-the-art. People you train with, iron sharpens iron. It's a comfortable position with high-quality things around you. and you still getting paid like a professional athlete. I wish they had NIL when I was around, for sure.
Oh, yeah. The whole South Carolina, them girls back then, they would have been paid, boy. All the fine girls from South Carolina. Coach Fry, shout out, man. Coach. Anyway, man, we gonna move back into the beat, man. Boy, we talked about it last week. Man, Masai doing a thing, bro. She doing a thing, and I mean, great race, man. Like everybody say, man, when those hurdle races come up, when you go down the line of those personal bests and the accolades that a lot of these women have, these are the best of the best women. I've seen a lot of them was like, yeah, no ducking. No ducking. We ain't ducking. We lining up and we going. And that's exactly what happened today. You had the world record holder go against the Olympic gold medalist, go against this year's world leader, go against the collegiate champion of last year, which is, bro.
There is no ducking, dog. You got to come out straight shooting, boy, because you have to.
I wonder what the call room for hurdles look like. If we could put a camera in that call room, is it quiet? Is somebody talking? What is happening?
I don't know. I actually, you know what? We should ask one of the athletes. We should ask Masai one day, like, hey, what is it like between y'all? Like, is there an air of like pressure and kind of that competitive anxiety that surrounds that whole call room like it is for the 100-meter runners? Or is it kind of like, girl, we having a good time, girl. Yeah, I got these nails done. You know what I mean? Where'd you get your hair done? Because you watch a lot of different events and I sit back and I have the opportunity to kind of like see different events in call rooms, especially during like championships, because you have multiple call rooms in one big place. And you can see the different energy of the different events. 100 meters is like everyone's like on death row. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's just sitting there, bro.
Everybody on death row.
Everybody on death row. Everybody's quiet, just sitting there, dog. But then you sit there and watch like the 400 and everybody just like, hey, man, yeah, we chilling, dog. They're having a good time. You know what I mean? I'm like, golly, boy. I wish we could just have a good time like that. You know what I mean? So it's different. I mean, like I said, I've been saying it every episode. The women's 100-meter hurdles is the most competitive event there is out there. The most competitive because every lane, every athlete has some kind of world credential under their belt. They're either a previous world champion, a former Olympic gold medalist, a former world record holder, or current world record holder. They have something that they bring to the table to show that they have marked greatness. You have to be ready and on your A game. You have to be. So those girls are built for the battle. What makes it interesting for me with Masai is that I'm watching her and I feel a bit of deja vu because she won the Olympic gold very early in her career. I think this is her sophomore year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I won my Olympic gold my sophomore year in my career. And when you win that achievement that you're working so hard thinking that it's going to take me 4 years as a professional athlete to achieve, and you do it within your second year, you're almost like, all right, well, what do I do now? Right? Most athletes are going to win. They're going to say, yay, I'm good. They have their Olympic blues, and then they kind of just have to find themselves in the next couple of years after that. Or you realize the thing that I worked so hard for has come to me right now. So all I got to work on now is work on my craft, work on perfecting my game plan, work on perfecting my race strategy, work on being the best athlete I can be and be flawless as possible. Because the pressure of you becoming an Olympic gold medalist is off your shoulders now. You won that. What's next? Become world champion, become world record holder, and you can start making your moves and checking off on your list exactly what you want to be. So for Masai, she's in a really good place. She has what she always dreamed of having right now. And now she just has to take on the responsibility that she owes it to herself and become the best athlete that she can be and go out there and keep winning as much as she can.
But she did exactly that. She took all the advice that you said and she looks at it. She's like, I just want to represent my Olympic gold medal in every race that I go out there and put out a good time. She doesn't talk about having the pressure of it. She doesn't talk about any of that. She's handling business as the Olympic gold medalist. And that's what she's been doing with the world lead on the personal best of 77.76, I think it was.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So shouts out to Masai, man. You out there doing your thing, man. Next, man, we got Dylan Beard, boy. We talked him up on our last show, boy. And he went out there and Dylan Beard showed out, man. Listen, when he crossed that line and the time went up, that time went up and it looked like the alphabet was behind his name because it was a PB, a world lead, a meet record. That boy looked like he was Dr. Esquire, blah, blah, blah. There's so many letters. It was the screen had to get cut off. But like, man, shout out to Dylan Beard with the world lead and 7:38, which is really, really fast. You don't have a lot of men, sub 7.4, and the 60-meter hurdles, man. That boy's start was like a rocket, man. And it being Black History Month, that young man went to Howard. He was at Howard, coached under our very own, both of our friend, David Oliver. David Oliver.
And one thing we do know is, if you're going to be coached by David Oliver, you got to be a dog, because he'll send you packing. If you ain't no dog, you got to pack up and get up out of there. So you know that Dylan has that dog mentality in him, and you can see it in his races. He's going to be structurally sound, but his heart and his mind going to be like, hey, I'm here to get it done. And I don't know if he talked to David before his race or anytime communicated before he gets into his races, but it looks like he's so locked in, and it reminds me so much of David when he competes. Because when David stepped to the line, it was like, hey, it's all or nothing, dog. You already know how David talk. Hey, man, it's all or nothing, dog. That's what we here. Hey, bro, it's only going to be one winner, dog. It's only going to be one winner. And that guy winner got to be me, baby. I worked too hard for this, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen. I don't think David is his coach right now, but David
he's in Atlanta.
Yeah, David was his coach before, but I know David has to be so proud of him. You know what I mean? Because he's taken the route of not being from a Power 5 school, and there's nothing wrong with going to a Power 5 school, but I'm saying he's taken the route of not being from a Power 5 school and rising to the top, especially with Walmart as his sponsor. Man, Dylan, we would love to have you on the show to talk about how you went about this, man, because we can only fabricate what we think. But we are proud of you also, man.
Yeah, I love looking at that list and seeing his name at the top. And like you said, with all those bubbles, world lead, course record, arena record, like he just throwing up all these gangs out, like he's gang affiliated, dog. Like he's crazy out here, man. Shouts out to you, man. You're doing your thing for sure, man.
Yeah, shouts out to her, man. We're very proud of you.
I actually thought about this the other day, and I think you talked about this. If he doesn't have a deal outside of Walmart and a deal comes to his table, be it a shoe company, it's probably in his best interest to do a carve out. And why I say that is because go get your shoes, right? If Walmart has been true to you, see what you can do with Walmart. Bring that contract that whatever shoe company respectfully brought to you and say, hey, Walmart, would you love to match this? And see what we can do moving forward and get and build you a unique relationship with a company that's outside of what traditionally we have in our sport. And that's how you're going to start changing the narrative of what it looks like for yourself, right? Find someone who understands contracts, get a contract, make a contract for yourself, get as many bonuses as possible through your contracts, and do a carve out when it comes to your shoes and your spikes. And trust me, you're going to be set. Why do I know this? Because I did it with my X-Step contract with my Chinese company. Hey. That's actually what set me up really well, is the fact of I was able to create my own contract and create my own bonuses. And I ran away like a fat rat from that situation because I kept winning and winning and winning. And I knew that the incentives were always going to be great for me.
Listen, Dylan, if you take that advice, we want our 10%. You'll gladly give it to us though, because you're gonna get paid. But I'm just playing, man.
Or some Walmart cars, or some Walmart cars, bro.
Yeah, some Walmart cars. Walmart sell everything, man. You get you a nice little fridge out of Walmart, man. You know what I mean? I need a new fridge. And our women's 60, man, Jacious Sears. We already talked about how she could run without pressure, with pressure. And when we put her back in this situation of her consistency, we have a PB in 7:02 and a world lead, a new world lead for this young lady, man. Like, Man, we say God is, she thanks Jesus all the time and thank God, but God is the perfect author, man. You know what I mean? Who knows if she would be here if she had super success last year. We watched her very unfortunately get injured, but like this year is starting off to be stellar. You know what I mean? Very stellar year. Haven't lost a race yet. We've seen somebody have a year like this and who went on to be the Olympic champion and Julian Alfred. You know, we know she probably will go to U.S. Nationals and compete for Indoor Worlds. And if she wins that gold, in this case, should the medalists be scared of her? Or should that field be scared of her, our elite women?
In the 60 meters or 100 meters?
But she already dropped 10.7. We all know what she's capable of. We've never seen 7.02 from her. So in her route to run 10.7, she hasn't ran this fast indoor. So if this is a precursor of what she could do, it could be scary. It could be scary.
God has blessed this young lady with talent. I dare you what, because like you said, she came off that 10.7, got injured, season was done, came back to this season and just start dropping bomb after bomb after bomb. And I tell you what, yes, these 60-meter ladies should be a little scared, should be a little nervous because she runs with the intent of creating space. She's not looking to be in traffic and trying to pull off the win by a narrow margin. She is running a race pattern that generates a lot of acceleration, a lot of velocity, and she's being coached very well to do so. And you could tell that that same race pattern that she's had right now will be very beneficial for her going into the 100 meters outdoors. So I can see that if she goes and finishes off her 60-meter season at a high level, her 100-meter season is going to be basically mirroring what she did indoors. She can come out outdoors and do an amazing job and be right back into those 10.8s and those 10.7s. So right now, the way she's been running, hey, she looked maybe about 6 meters before the finish line. She tried to squeeze in just another little gear, like, it paid off. She got that 7.02. And now she can go back, get a little training in and make that 7.02 a easier run for her. So now she can get that little bit of extra squeeze again to dip into that it's that sub 7. So that's what you're looking at right now. She has been building week by week to become a stronger, faster athlete, and it's showing all in her competitive races. She separates well enough to where she doesn't have to be in traffic and she keeps moving forward.
Mm. Now we're going to move on to our men's 60, where we had PJ Austin, Trayvon Bromwell, and Marcellus Moore. Marcellus Moore defeats Trayvon, and PJ was third. I watched Trayvon's race. Marcellus got out really well, man. Controlled the race from beginning to end. You see, in the middle of the race, Trayvon tries to go and get him. But I just feel like Trayvon's starting to get into a rhythm. And he's going to be one of those guys who I feel doesn't have to win it all until he has to win it all, right? When I say that, I kind of mirror that off of your 2012 indoor run. Mm-hmm. You didn't win any of those races, but when it was time for you to win, you won. So I feel like because he's getting in a rhythm, I feel like, I'm going to call it now, I feel like indoors, if he does go to U.S. indoors, I feel like 1 and 2 is going to be him and Ronnie Baker. It's going to be vets. It's going to be nobody new.
I agree. I think that he needs to realize that the moment is not bigger than him and go out there and seize the moment when it's necessary, meaning Trayvon. What I want to see from Trayvon, it doesn't have to be today or tomorrow, it's the fact of him getting ready for his outdoor season, is the hallmark and the calling card for elite sprinters when they're in their prime is big shoulder caps. And we've seen Trayvon with big shoulder caps. When Trayvon was running his 9.7s and 9.8s, like they're going out of business, it was a fact of he had bigger shoulder caps, larger pronounced pectoral muscles, and it helped him kind of move and motor down the track better. And this is a calling card for any elite sprinter that you've ever seen. Like, you see the development in Noah Lyles. You've seen it on the female side. You see it with Julian Alford. You've seen it with Gail Devers when she was running. You've seen it with FloJo. You've seen it with Allison. You've also seen it with Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Tyson Gay, myself. Like, everyone who goes out and runs elite fast times, they have bigger shoulder caps. So this is where your momentum's coming from. Your momentum's not coming from the other half of your body, which is your legs. It's coming from the top. This is what's going to dictate how fast your legs are moving, how strong you're getting down the track. And I want to see that with Trayvon. You know what I mean? He's progressively getting better. And I gave him a shout out and I talked to him. I was like, man, I love the fact that you're progressing race by race. That means that your mind's there. That means that you're really focused on what you need to do and you're executing and you're coming away with small victories to lead up to a big victory. But I know that big shoulder caps is still in there. He can get it, pull it out. By the time he gets to outdoor, I think he'll be surprising a lot of people.
Now, for Marcellus Moore, I'm not discounting you. I think you could go out there and get the job done. I need to see you put away another field just like this, man. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, but it's an opinion. Anybody can upset somebody's opinion. But Marcellus Moore, I want to shout you out and say very good race from you, sir.
Absolutely. And the commentators, they was making him seem like he was just as a football player. Marcellus Moore is a track runner who happens to play football. He is a track guy.
And that goes two ways. You have track guys that play football, and then you have football guys that run track. And you could tell the difference based on their mechanics. You always can tell a football player running track and be like, you're a football guy first. And then when you see a track guy doing the football field, you're like, you're a track guy first. You're a track guy. And it's usually the guys who run too fast that they can't break. They can't break out of that. They can't break and make that L, you know what I mean? Or that curl, that going too fast. Those are usually the track guys.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had some world records drop out there, man. We had Grant Fisher, who beats Olympic gold medalist Cole Hawker. You know what I mean? In the 3,000.
Why you say Hawker? Why you say it like that? Hawker.
I'm trying to say it right.
Hawker.
And I watched that race, right? And I watched as Cole made his move with three laps to left. Now, I'm no long distance guy or who could really commentate, but I felt when he made it at 3 laps to go, he made it a little too early, which would be a lap and a half around a real track, right? I feel like he should have made his move where most people make their move on outdoor track and field, but 2 laps to go, which would be equal to 400 meters. He made it with 3. And we all know when you're leading a race, it takes what they say scientifically 11% more energy than to follow. Mm-hmm. And I think Fisher just tracked them. He just tracked them the whole way until it was striking time. And then it isn't like they both ventured in a world that they didn't know they were going to be in because they both ran the world record, right? But it was an excellent race. I enjoyed watching it, man. What were your thoughts on it?
I love good competition in distance running. I love it. I love it when you find these athletes who are pacing each other, going stride for stride, coming off that last turn, and they go into sprint form and trying to like claw for that finish line and see who has it the most, who wants it the most. So shouts out to both of them. Obviously, we saw what Cole did in the Olympics, come away with the Olympic gold medal. So he has that grit in him. And probably, maybe, we don't know. Maybe his intent wasn't to go break a world record. I'm not sure. Maybe his intent was to work on something when it comes to speed endurance. I don't know. But the fact is, once you get into that situation, what do? You have to figure out probably, all right, I got this guy riding my hip. How do I shake him? Maybe I take him out a little faster. Maybe he'll back off of me because it's too fast for his pace. But it seems like Grant was like, nah, I'm going to roll with you. I'm going to roll. We roll together, bro. I'm riding shotgun right now until it's time for me to take front seat. So
he jumped in that back seat and he was gone. Shoot.
Yeah.
He was gone. Shoot. I don't know what was on the surface at doggone Melrose, but you had the American record fall in the 800 with Josh Hoey. That young man ran 143.90 in the 800.
Yeah, bro.
143.
Yeah.
143 is great outdoor. That's great time outdoor. That's like a very awesome time outdoor.
Yeah, that's headlines out. That's headlines outdoor. Like, oh, you dropped 143. Oh yeah, you on the way, dog.
I tried to tell you. Amazing race. He ran that 143, and then he disappeared like Batman. Then he good job to him, man. And then we got our Olympic bronze medalist, Yard Nagoose.
Nagoose.
And the Wanamaker Mile. We watched Bernard Lagat win that race so many times in that facility. Man, Nagoose got a world record on them now, man, in 3:46.63 in the mile.
What I found interesting about that was actually after the world record, when they had a video of him signing so much paperwork after breaking the world record, probably to help ratify his world record. But people just think like, you come across that line, it's photos and flowers and kissing babies and crowds cheering for you. But a lot goes into the fact of sealing the deal of breaking a world record. So shouts out to him, man. He's obviously starting off his campaign this season, world record pace. So let's see what he does next.
Yeah, man. And that was most of what happened this weekend. Some results that was out there that led me to let a lot of people be aware of. Sight unseen. Christopher Morales Williams opened up his season with 45-2. I would dare people to please pay attention to that young man from Canada. This is his first year pro. I would not discount what that young man is doing. That young man is a talent. I'm not saying everybody else who was in that 400-meter field of the Olympics wasn't talented. I'm just saying that young man had a very long season when he turned pro. And he's starting off the season with 45-27. I would really pay attention to that young man 400-meter runners.
It's so funny. It's so funny how we perceived how his real arrival into our sport at elite level came. The fact that he had COVID and was like, I'm just going to go out here, F it. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's just go run. Bam, drop a bomb. Oh, okay. If I just say that same mentality, I can keep dropping bombs. Bomb.
I said, that boy is very talented. I like the way he runs, man. I'm pretty sure he's pretty hungry. Usually when you sit on the sideline knowing that you feel that you could have been there and you watch guys do what you think you can do, that next year you come out like a hellion, boy. And I see nothing short of that from this young man. So sight unseen races, that was one of them. I saw the results and I was like, they probably should pay attention to this.
And he's just so low-key and chill, bro. He just here we are. Let's go. But today we got a doubleheader. We got a doubleheader today, man.
We do. We got
a doubleheader today, man. So we have a guest on today. We have Nicholas Powell. He is sports psych's consultant and also the mind game himself. If you've seen him on Instagram, he's out there working with a lot of athletes. He works with teams. He's worked with Team Jamaica. He is Caribbean-based by blood. But also you can reach him. He talks to any and everybody. When you see him, he's approachable. He's that kind of guy who will take his time to be able to get you back on track mentally so you can get out there and perform at a high level. How do I know this? Because I've worked with him myself. And he's that kind of guy. He's a really good dude, upstanding dude. He's been on the block for a while. He's been low key, but now he's making a charge to the front because we all know to get to that next level in sports, it's not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. So introducing our guest, man, Nicholas Powell in the building. What's up, baby?
Welcome.
Much respect. Thanks for having me, man. Definitely. It's long overdue, but I like it. I'm glad to be here.
Of course, man. Of course. So what's going on, man? How'd you get your start in the game? How'd you realize that sports psych was the way to go for you?
It actually fell on me. So first, again, thank you guys for having me. When I first got into sports psychology, it's not what I wanted to do. I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica. Went to the prestigious Jamaica College and was invited to leave 3 times, right? And the final time, for some people in Jamaica, they understand what that means. I was expelled 3 times, right? And got back in. And Then went on to St. Andrews Technical and started doing track. Not because I was talented like you guys, but because there was a cute girl on the track team.
That's like me right there, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I only joined the track team because girls was on there.
That was me too.
Dude, but because I'm from the Garrison, I'm from a place called Arnett Gardens, Jungle. Track and field allowed me to travel around the country, right? And when I joined the track team because of the girl, 3 months after joining the track team, she quit. She left and went to the US. I was so devastated, bro. I couldn't eat for like 2 whole hours. But
he said hours.
Not hours, not days. I thought it was gonna be like days.
That's not even a forced diet.
I know.
My track coach at the time, who happened to be the head coach at Lincoln University, his name is Victor Papi Thomas. He gave me guidance on mentorship from a coach's perspective on how to take my game to the next level. And I was able to go to GC Foster, where I'm a certified coach, and then went on to coach at Wolmer's Boys for a year under the guidance of Stephen Francis. You guys may have heard of him.
I think the world heard of him.
Yeah.
I think the world.
AKA Frano.
But Frano mentored me during that time and gave me the connection to the point where I got a scholarship to the US at McKendree University and started studying psychology. And that's how I kind of fell into it, because right after graduating from McKendree, I was assistant coach at Lincoln University and realized that our athletes would dominate. You remember Lerone Clark, right?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Everybody remember Lerone Clark with the glove. Hey, Justin, remember that race? He dropped me and you all.
He dropped us off like a city bus, bro. Yes.
So Lerone would leave from Jeff City, come to St. Louis. I would pick him up, take him to the airport, or pick him up from the airport and make sure he get back home. And we would start having these conversations. And I realized that most of the time our athletes didn't perform the way they wanted to perform. It wasn't physical. It was more mental, because they had the training, they had the facility, they started getting the equipment, because by then companies started being more flexible with how they're providing support for athletes. And I'm like, it's the mental side. And because of my background in psychology and physical education, I went back to school and got my master's in kinesiology. And that's how we met, Justin, because I was still in school working on my master's, and I saw you in the airport, right? And approached you. And we had a really good conversation, made a connection. And most of my papers graduated with my master's was about the conversations we had.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that,
you mentioned, because with sports psychology, we don't really, unless the client or athlete say we're working with them, it's confidential. So since you say we have worked together, it's okay for me to share, even though I don't share what we talk about. But that helped me to really tap into it. So my professor was like, Nick, like, you really should consider really deep diving into this, because I was just getting a master's sports psych, but wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But he's like, you really need to dig into it. So when I graduated in 2011, I stopped coaching at Lincoln. I started working sports psychology full time.
So my question is, you took that opportunity to go from what usually athletes do when they go from being an athlete to becoming a coach, right?
Yeah.
Because we have that traits. We know that we can have that mind and eye to go out there and say, do this, do that, do this. But we also know that in the sports world, the psychological side is a very taboo side. You know, why is that though? Why do you find that so many athletes find it hard to open up and speak to, you know, sports psych, or even to themselves, to really capture and kind of water down those fears or anxiety that they may have?
Part of it is culture, right? Especially in the African American and the Caribbean community. We associate psychology with being crazy, the stigma. So we don't want to associate it. But it's not all athlete, because in other cultures, they're quick to say, I'm seeing my therapist, I'm seeing my psychologist, right? So they're getting the support, and even the ones in our culture that is utilizing the service, don't want to be vocal about it because the fear of judgment, even though it might be working. So that was one of the reasons I reached out to you guys, was like, I know there's a lot more athletes are speaking about sports psychology. I'd love for the opportunity to come in and answer some questions about how sports psychology work, because most of the time people, when they reach out to sports psychology consultant, mental coach, whatever terms they use, sports psychologists, they reach out when something is going wrong. What I've been doing, and one of the things I've been blessed, because I'm a former athlete at the college level, a coach at both high school and college level, and now in the sports psychology field, and also from the Caribbean, I feel like I can relate and use the right terms with the individuals to help them to deflate the stigma that's associated with it, and help them to realize it's not just when something is going wrong, it's how do we take your game to the next level, like reverse engineering your goals, building the confidence you need to continuously doing what you have aspired to do.
That's really, really, really interesting. And I think that's a good way of doing things. But I have a question that probably a lot of viewers, or you probably get a lot, what's the difference between a sports psychologist and a regular traditional therapist? Does an athlete need both, or you can be one and the same? Or licensed mental health therapist, let me use that term.
So that's a good question. A lot of the time, the licensed mental health professional does not have the sports background. So they don't fully understand some of the intricacies of being an athlete. And I think that's one of the ways where I stand out, because I can use terms that in sports that the athlete can relate to. Imagine me coming to you trying out for football, and I say, all right, go out there and try to get a penalty kick, or try to get a basket when you're thinking about football. A lot of times they don't know it, right? But there are a lot of people who are licensed clinical professionals who have background in sports psychology. And that is why it's important to get somebody who is certified to the Association for Applied Sports Psychology, because there are requirements, and we are board certified. And
that's good. But what I was saying was, can you have both? Because I have had some people, like, their issue off the track wasn't necessarily, or even in sports.
Yeah.
It wasn't sport. It was, I got daddy issues, or I got this. And sometimes a licensed mental health therapist may help them organize that, while what you do help them organize other things. So I think what I'm asking is, if that's the case, should you get both, or should you just try to streamline one into the other?
Good question. And now I understand. You can get both, because what I do is, as I said, is not clinical. So the clinical side is where you find the licensed therapist. I am more performance-based.
Okay,
right?
There we go. All right, now I understand.
And I have, because of my experience, I have enough knowledge to identify when it's more clinical and provide referrals.
Right.
So some athletes do need both sides. The reason why I encourage athletes to get, at least, especially if you're taking sports serious, get into sports psych, because having somebody who can help you build the confidence in what you're doing, a lot of time minimize the negative effect that could lead to the depression, the clinical side. Because most of the time you develop the stress from the clinical side, the anxiety, the depression leads over into the rest of your life, because things are not going well on the track.
Right. There we go.
So
go ahead, Justin.
No, I was gonna say, so you've established yourself, and you at that point now, you started working with Team Jamaica. Like, what was that experience like? And when did you start working with Team Jamaica?
So that's interesting. I had the opportunity. So I started my business, like I said, 2010, and stopped coaching 11. And I started going to meets because one of the things that one of my friends, I can call you my friend, right? He said, to be great, you got to go where the great congregate.
Yes.
And 2011, you were debuting in South Korea.
Daegu, yeah.
Daegu, right? So I'm like, I have to find a way to get there. So I started investing in going to these major meets. So I could go to see the athletes and talk about what I needed to do because I know of the stigma. I made a connection with Julia Campbell, who works with Puma, and shared with her what I was doing. And she started providing guidance, mentorship for me, and was able to create opportunities for me to sit and talk with athletes from Jamaica, not just Jamaica, but other places. Bahamas brought me in, a bunch of different countries brought me in for workshops. But in 2016, I'm in Rio, and I had the opportunity to hang out with the CEO of Puma at the time. And that gave them an insight into what I do more, because we sat down and I was told, like, as soon as you get your certification, we can give you an opportunity. Once I got my certification, because I could do it without certification, but I wanted to make sure when I step to a reputable coach, they know I'm not just coming because I have an idea. It's because I went through the proper training. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I got the opportunity, they gave me a contract to work with athletes, not just Jamaica, but also around the world, giving me that opportunity. So
other Puma affiliated athletes as well.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes. So even though I don't just work with Puma athletes, they give me the opportunity to do the things I want to do with athletes around the world. So it's, even though I've been to meets working with Jamaican athletes, I'm still yet waiting for that call to be an official representative with a national team.
Oh, that's definitely good. We'll be waiting. When you get that call, we want to make sure we champion you and shout that out.
I appreciate it.
In our current world today, right? And I would definitely want your opinion on this. Justin and I have talked about it on our show plenty of times. We have the child prodigies that are coming up, kids that are very, very dominant, right? And the win factor is there. They'll win a lot. But we both know as they climb the ranks and they try to change over and switch over into the professional ranks, they might not win as much. Mm-hmm. What is your advice, or what can you state, or how can you provide a statement that will help them like transition? Because we've seen plenty of our prodigies try to transition and a small percentage does it. When I say small, I mean very minute. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we both know it's not talent. We both know you go from winning so much to losing so much. What does that do to the mind? How can they try to, fight against that, to push on through to be successful?
Yeah. And that's very complex because everybody, you have individual differences, right? But in general, what I would recommend is having the right support system around them when they're making that transition, right? You guys talk about mentoring athletes who are going to the next level, whether it's from high school to college, from college to pro, and from pro, just being pro, to standing on the top shelf, right? For the people who go to the bar, they know what top shelf is. The highest level where you don't ask the price for it, you just know, I can afford that because of the work I've put in, right? Having the right mentorship and the right guidance makes a difference, right? So when I work with my athletes, it's helping them to understand, because some of them set the goal to go pro. I want a scholarship. I want to go to college. I want to go professional, get a contract. Once they have achieved it, most of them don't perform well because that was the goal.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So because I've already achieved my goal, now, instead of working to improve, I'm working not to lose this opportunity.
That's good.
So some people compete to win, and then you have some people compete not to lose.
Yeah. And
That's good.
You're 100% true. I agree with that 110%. And I think what right now is in our era, and you spoke on this, Nick, it's like we train our athletes to win, but we don't prepare them for loss, especially our young athletes. The ones that are young and phenoms, we say, man, you're going to win everything. You're the next, you're the greatest. But no one prepares them for what loss is like. Because now, you know, you have a young kid who's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I can't believe I'm saying all the way down to 13. But they get in those situations where the spotlight is on them. Yeah. And then they're used to winning. And then that loss comes, they don't know how to handle that loss. It becomes embarrassing because the spotlight's been on you. It becomes, it turns into anxiety now because the stakes are higher. And no one is coaching them and teaching them that, hey, loss is a part of this sport. You're going to lose, but how you operate within that loss to get back to winning is what the real goal is. And coaches just coach to win and coach for you to be able to run PRs and leave the rest of it to whatever is to come. And that's why you see a lot of these young athletes fall by the wayside for so long throughout our sport. For years, you watched young athletes who were going to be something turn into nothing because they didn't know how to manage loss.
This is true. This is why this is going to be a great market for you. You know, hopefully young athletes would reach out to you for that transition, because handling loss is a bigger factor than how you handle the win, right? Because I always say, I tell my kids, in life, you're going to lose way more than you win. But when you win, you got to make them things count. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, being in your position, I've watched a lot of kids who had that camera in their face every time they won, to being in a race and that camera is not there and you watch them watch somebody else get the interview from the background and their eyes are saying, I remember when that used to be me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That will eat away at them, right? Especially if they are not confident in themselves in that time, that can break them down to the point where they become seriously depressed. Right? Because I'm used to this. And now, especially when they transition from high school or college where they have a great support system. And then now I've heard on the podcast where now people are on their own and they got to figure out their own, the physician, the massage therapist, all
nutrition,
the different stuff, right? And now I don't have that support. And the people who used to be like, hey, I got you, is no longer there. How do you navigate through that? And one of the things that I work with my clients is building that strong team around them. Not the yes men, not the yes women, but some people that's going to ask you the uncomfortable questions, who are going to challenge you, right? Even though I've been in this field for this long, I really don't get excited over big names, right? Especially when I started, like when I came through the system, especially working with Frano when he was in high school, we used to have summer camps. So a lot of the big names that Justin competed against, we were in camps with, preparing them for Carifta Games or World Juniors or whatever, or for the trials, right? So I'm used to these people. The reason why I don't get excited about the big names, because no disrespect, I don't care who you are. Performance is performance. So my job is to mentally prepare you, because if you think that you're up here and nobody can touch you, then sometimes your mindset may slack off. So I'm going to treat you the same level to prepare you mentally to always go to the next level, right? I used to have conversations with Justin 11 o'clock at night and then wake up again at 3 o'clock because he's running a race and we need to talk before the finals to lock in, right? Of something that's going on. Where was your mind? What did you learn? Every time I work with my athletes, I'm not going to say I don't care about time, but I really don't care about time. Did you execute the way you were supposed to? If you do that, it takes care of itself.
Yeah, that's why you're not worried about time.
Confidence in your ability to execute, right? and we've seen it. So that's what drives me, is encouraging them, focusing on becoming a better version of themselves, regardless at what level you're at.
I love that you brought that up, because it's like you also present clarity, right? And the times that we talk for my preparation for my performance, I knew what I needed to do. But sometimes you come in those situations where your mind is full of different thoughts, it's clutter. And then you have that person that says, this is what you need to think on. Move all the other stuff out the way. This is what you need to focus on. It's like losing your keys in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't find your keys because everything else is in the way. Once you're able to move everything out the way and put everything where it needs to be, there's boom, there go the keys. They're right there in front of you. Now you can get on your way. And that's what you represented for me. It was a fact of you was able to slow things down when necessary, get things off my chest, and move things out the way. So I know this is what I'm dialed and this is what I'm focused on. Because in track and field, it's a weird feeling of the fact of when you go into competition, you feel alone. You could have a circle, you could have teammates that's running in the same event as you, but it's a fact of when you wake up that morning for your race, you feel alone. When you're preparing yourself for that race at warm up, you feel alone. When you go to that call room, you feel alone. When you get on that start line, you feel alone. If you don't win that race and you come off that track, even though it might be 7 or 6 other people who lost that race too, you feel alone. And that's what it makes you feel like. So it's like you don't know what everybody else is going through. But the fact that if you have someone to talk about it with and kind of guide you through the hits and the misses, it doesn't make you feel as alone.
And as you said that, I remember your first season coming back.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I'm like, perspective. Look at how many races did you lose? You're like, 1. But what? You got second after 3 months of running.
Yeah.
In one race out of 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And you ran Caesar best in that race that you lost to the man who was at the time one of the fastest after 3 weeks, after 3 months.
Yeah.
And perspective, you're like, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I remember that race.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so it's sometimes we just need a perspective. And when you hear it from a coach or a family member or whatever, they're supposed to say that. Right? When I'm coming, I'm helping you to be present in that moment and focusing on what is going on right now, not what you would have want. Where are you right now? What your reality, and what do we need to take it to the next level?
Facts.
We got a lot of that going on today. I'm glad that Justin made his sessions with you kind of public and y'all sharing a little bit of what he went through. But outside of that, man, helping somebody else who was like a great athlete who had it and lost it, what does navigating them feel for you? Because we're watching somebody who's navigating their way back to the top, and only because he spoke about it, I'll speak about it too. And Ronnie Baker. Okay. Ronnie Baker, he had a whole post how he went into depression. He was looking at this list on a Diamond League, and he was in last place, running something like 10.4. This is somebody who's ran the time of 9.8 several times, not once or twice, who's ran it several times, who's second fastest all time in the 60. Gone. Some people have put the nail in the coffin on that boy and everything else, but now we're seeing the reemergence of him getting back to the top. How is he doing that? Or how could you say somebody is helping him through getting back to the top? Because he talks about therapy also. Okay, good.
A lot of times people go to the line with a lot of things on their mind. They're carrying the weight of what people are going to think, what I need to do, what this one race is going to allow me to do. And they're carrying a backpack loaded with stuff and still expecting to be locked in and execute.
Well, that was me. That was me. That was me. 100%. I was married early, had kids early. You know, I would carry my family to every meet, which was crazy until somebody told me to stop doing that later on. But yes, that was me. But go ahead.
So going into the race and thinking about all those things, you can't really focus on the executions because you're thinking, most of the time as humans, we're thinking about the outcome. And most of the time, the outcomes that we're thinking about based on our assessment of ourselves is not always positive. Especially if we look in the race and we see somebody that the key word, perceive to be better than us. We're going to start thinking about all the things that we did that I forgot to do this week, or the little niggle that I felt, whatever it is. And now that starts snowball. So not only am I thinking about family and all that, I may think that I'm not in the best shape to run. How many times you guys went to practice? I'm going to use practice where you didn't feel like doing it and end up running some of your fastest time and having some of the greatest practice?
Plenty times.
Yep, many times.
Exactly.
Plenty times.
But if we follow what we feel, because emotion is fleeting, and if we follow emotions, then we'll go into the race and second guess ourselves. And if we don't have the proper guidance and the tools, the positive self-talk, practicing it, not when we go to track meet, but been working on it in practice to build our confidence in what we're doing. When we get to that point and we have everything on our back, it can pull us down, right? Especially when we're seeing somebody who we knew ran a fast time. I don't care. When I started doing track, like I said, I wasn't fast, but they put me up. Poppy used to put us up against the club team when we were in high school. And I remember running against Michael McDonald. At the time, he had just ran 44 seconds. I was blistering at 52. Right?
That boy said blistering.
I was flying at 52, right? And I walk up to him and I say, hey, see you at the finish line. And he looked at me like, who's this guy? And my first 150 was nice. After that, I didn't do much. But what I learned from that, you're not going to beat me because of your name and what you have done. Every time, even if you beat me, you have to show up every day that you have put in work, because I know the work I'm putting in. So building that confidence with the athlete on what to work on, what to focus on, and building that confidence that when they go to track meets, it's more about me learning to execute my race, building confidence in my ability to execute, that when it counts, I'm able to show up, than to focus on who I need to be today. Yes, that's a prerequisite. If I execute, then I beat these people. But if I'm focusing on them, then I can't focus on my lane. And one of my favorite saying is stay focused. Both stay in your lane mentally and physically. If I'm thinking about other lanes, then I can't focus on my execution. In our mind, we can't think about two things that require concentration at the same time.
I agree. Especially when I was competing, I also realized that athletes fear the greatness of others. And that's what brought on a lot of anxiety for people. When you lined up against Usain or Johan or Safa or Tyson, anybody like that, the first thing that goes to your mind is you think, oh, I'm about to race against Usain 9.5. I'm about to race against Tyson 9.6. And within that season, they might not even sniffed that time. They might have been still running 10-0 at that time. Right. But the fact is, when you line up, you thinking about
the best version of themselves.
The best version of themselves, bro. And that's what sparks the fear and anxiety of so many athletes. And when I realized that that was something I could control, I actually used it as a tool in reverse and said, all right, if I'm going to go and face 9.5 Bolt or 9.6 Tyson, I'm going to prepare myself through practice for that situation. That situation may never arrive, but it's the fact that I was prepared for that moment. And that's what I did. So that's how I was able to capture my own anxiety and my own fears, and I kind of use it in reverse.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Very, very, very good, man.
Same thing too, man. How do you get athletes to come out of their shell when it comes to, like, because we know athletes are very superstitious. You know what I mean? They had to feel a certain way. They had to go through a certain ritual to feel like they're ready to go out and compete and run. And mine was always being a stickler when it came to time. I would be at the track 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours in advance. Like I'm getting ready to go on a flight. I'll be at the warm-up track well in advance, because I know that if I didn't feel totally prepared when it's time for me to go into that call room, I'm going to sit in that call room thinking about, man, I should have did one more stride, or I don't feel like I stressed enough, or I didn't do enough block starts. And then I'm going to go on to that track thinking about that moment that I didn't have to be able to prepare myself. And then when the gun goes off, my mind isn't focused on what I need to focus on. So I well prepared myself by having enough time to get myself ready to get going.
Yeah. Whenever athletes are exposed to a stressor, right, or individuals, we feel that level of anxiety, that nervousness, right? And then our brains go to, do I go through like a quick checklist? Do I have the things? Did I do the things? And if I felt like I did it, then I feel more excited than nervous, right? So when I work with clients, my goal is always to help them think about situations. What happens if life happens and you have a shorter warm-up? Do you have one of those that still build a confidence? Right?
Go ahead.
If you're in a situation where you're not able to blow out 80 meters like you're used to because the track is gone, what are some things that you can do? And I want you to practice it and feel what it feels like and put together those things that will make you feel more confident to go on the track. Because when we go on the track, I can't be thinking about, like Justin said, man, I didn't get that extra stride, right? Visualization is very important, right? So even though I may not have gotten the start, like get a chance to do 3 starts, I did 2. And the last one felt better. We can visually adjust the last one. Even though they said no more starts, I'm now confident that I know what I need to do the next one to execute it. So I'm not as nervous as, man, I wish I had, and now in the blocks thinking about all these other things. Especially in sprints, if you're not present, thinking about 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, you may miss that gun, or you may miss the opportunity to execute the way you want to execute.
Facts.
Yeah.
With that said, man, go ahead, Rob.
No, I was saying these are all good talking points. I encourage our viewers, man, like young and old, because everything that you said helped so much. I mean, it helped me as a coach, just listening back and just thinking about some situations that I've fostered in my career, man. So yeah, it was a great reflection. Definitely very helpful. I encourage all of our listeners to listen to our banter back and forth about sports coaching.
So Nick, what's a couple of takeaways that you would give to young athletes that would be listening, so when they go through their season now and in the future, they can have those tidbits of information? And where could they reach you at if they want to be able to say, hey, I want to talk a little bit more with them?
Okay, so one of the things, just to answer Rod's question, add to Rod, as a coach, I have even been doing workshop with coaches, right? Working with coaches, because most of the time people hear sports psychology, it's for the athletes. Coaches are human too, right? So providing that support and that mental support, because sometimes athletes are prepared, but a coach may say something and that could throw them off, right? They're locked in, and the coach. So having the right guidance of how to interact with your athletes, how to get the most out of your athletes, how to be more emotionally intelligent with your athletes. These are things that I've been going into universities and programs to share, that these things can make the difference, building great relationship with coaches and athletes, between the coaches and athletes, because when you're on that track, that synergy is important.
100%.
Right? I had some athletes that we worked with, and in Paris, one of them came back and said, because of the building a tighter relationship with their coach, that athlete, at least 2 of them were able to stand on the shelf, right? To medal in Paris. So when I work with athletes, I also provide them guidance to talk to the coach, even though I don't share with the coaches what I talk to them about, because it's confidential. So it doesn't matter where you're from, unless you tell me it's okay to talk to the coach. I'm not sharing nothing with the coach. And the athletes, I recommend that the athletes, if there's something that needs to be shared, go talk to the coach, build that relationship, build that synergy. So as a coach, it makes a difference. To find me, It's a Mind Game on Instagram. I do my best to post content. People ask me questions and I share information. My email address is analyst06@gmail.com. I am on Facebook, Nicholas R. Powell. I'm on LinkedIn, Nicholas R. Powell. And if I could share anything with the athletes, with individuals who are trying to take their performance to the next level, understand that at the highest level, it's no longer about talent. Everybody's talented. It's understanding that the people who compete at the highest level are the people who are most mentally prepared on that day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? So it's realizing that everything that you're doing, remember, you set a target championship. So you're not going to run fast every race you run, but make sure you use that time or that training session to develop into the athlete that you need to become. And if your goals don't scare you, that means they're not big enough. If you're just trying I just want to go to the Olympics. Okay, you can go to the Olympics. Come sit in the stands with me. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be in the stands because I'm going to try to be in the warm-up area or the camp to work with the athletes. But you can go to the Olympics. But if you want to make an impact, then you have to change your mindset. And the same mindset that what got you here will not get you there. And that's why you need to tap into somebody who can mentally prepare you to stay it. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing but a mind game.
There it is, man. There it is. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you getting on here and speak about, the sports therapist world and the sports therapy and how it really can help the next level of athletes that's coming up. And I think it's a necessity. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be a champion, but no one knows how to those athletes don't know how to operate as a champion. So, and it's a key factor. What you do, what you bring to the table is very important, man. So we appreciate your time, man. We hope you going to any meets lately after this season?
So as always, I go to the high school championships, support the high schoolers in Jamaica. And then looking at going to Japan, but it just depends if I get a nice offer, then I'll go to Japan. But if not, I'm looking at going into teaching full time at the university because they want that support. But we'll see what happens. I'm working on a few things.
All right, bro. Well, keep me up to date, man. I want to know where you're going to be at so we can link up.
I appreciate you guys again for what you're doing, having this platform, because it makes a difference, showing from that perspective. And I can't wait to see what y'all do next.
Man, we appreciate having you on the show, man. It was our pleasure.
And I'll move it, even though it's alpha. I'll move
you know what? Go ahead and send me the mailing address. I'll send some things over to you, bro.
I appreciate it.
One of a kind, one of one kind of stuff, man. I appreciate you, everything you've done for me through my career, man. And what you're going to do for the next generation too, man.
Much love. Thanks.
Always, brother.
We really appreciate Nicholas being on our show, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the insight that we had to bring. But until next time, with us on Ready, Set, Go!